It is time for a brand new spotlight on here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I have Taylor Spreitler. You may know her from Melissa and Joey and CBS's new show, Kevin Can Wait. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ-TV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. Thank you for being a friend. I am joined by Taylor Spreitler.
This is amazing.
Yeah, you're losing it.
I just love the Golden Girls.
Yeah. When did you discover the Golden Girls?
My sister's a huge Golden Girls fan. So since I was a kid, basically, I grew up watching the Golden Girls while everyone else was watching, like, I don't know, regular kid shows.
Modern shows?
Yeah. I came home from school and was like, the Golden Girls are on. I was that kid.
Is that the show that inspired you to want to act?
It really is, yeah. I think that's why I love doing sitcoms so much, because it's just, that's what I kind of grew up on too. Like, you know, being a 90s kid, it's like, that's what I watched. So I got very lucky that I still get to do them.
Is there an episode that sticks out in your mind? I just want to talk to you about Golden Girls for a minute.
This is actually the Golden Girls after show.
Yeah.
An episode that sticks out to me. Oh goodness, you know, the one that always gets me is when B. Arthur kisses Rue McClanahan's, or not Rue McClanahan, when she kisses Rose's boyfriend. That one always, just because every time I see that kiss, I'm like, no, Dorothy, why? So yeah, that's the one.
I love that you were like, no, I know exactly which one it is. That's
I know,
so
I really
great.
didn't have to think about that long enough. That's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. I'm the same way with a show that I love, SVU, which you happen to have been on twice.
Yes. So if you don't say one of your favorite episodes is one of mine, I'm storming out of here.
It's SVU has been on for 18 seasons. I cannot pick a favorite episode.
That's,
but I definitely get excited when I see you on
18 seasons?
it. Yeah, currently in its 18th season. Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, but that's a show that like has been around for so long and people come in and out of the show. What was it like? Do you remember when you were working on it?
Yeah, it was actually kind of crazy because when I did it, it was like my first like big job. And I was 11 years old and it was very, you know, it was kind of overwhelming because I didn't really know like what being on a set of that magnitude was like. And Mariska Hargitay is the nicest person in the entire world and like walked me through everything, was so there, like in it with me. And then when I went back into the second episode at 18 years old, she was like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again. Like, I remember you when you were much younger. And I was like, what? You remember me? And
after like a bazillion episodes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, she could have been lying, but whatever. It still made me feel great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. And she was still the exact same. Like there was no, you know, she wasn't like, okay, like I've been here for, you know, I guess at that point it was like, what, 15 seasons?
Yeah.
Like
a million years.
Yeah, she was just like, no, let's still like, you know, she was very much like, because everyone's always crying on SVU. Yeah. And I had to cry a lot. And she very much like sat there and gave me the time to do it and wasn't sitting there like, oh my gosh, could you hurry up and cry? Like I've been here all day. So she was amazing.
How are you at crying?
I'm really good at crying. I was on a soap opera for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm very good at crying on the spot. Yeah.
Where do you learn a skill like that?
You know, I think when you just have to do it so much, and soap operas are like so fast paced, it's just something that you kind of pick up. My boyfriends hate it, but it works out for me.
Yeah, it's a great skill. I should work on that. I should absolutely work on that. I like that you have this very wide variety of stuff that you've done, from soaps to procedurals twice to sitcoms, which is, I think, your love.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the most surprising thing about it?
I mean, I've been incredibly lucky that I get to do so many different things that I've been able to do, you know, like between soaps and sitcoms, it's like they're so different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love sitcoms. Like you can't be in a bad mood at work when your job is to literally just make other people laugh. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of this like, you know, and then you have like the audience, and it's like we always talk about how like, you know, no wonder like the Rolling Stones and all these bands, they never want to stop going on tour, because it's like I never want to stop doing shows because I love like running out and I guess I love the attention of all these people like cheering for me when I walk out.
It's the energy.
Yeah, it's
That's
the energy.
what you love.
Yeah, let's go with that. That makes me sound not as selfish.
I got you. You love energy.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's great. And like, especially working with the people that I've worked with on sitcoms.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like,
Let's talk about Melissa and Joey for a second.
that was insane. Because, I mean, like, my sister was a huge Clarissa fan. And then I was like the Sabrina fan. So it was like just like the generations of my family who have like watched her career.
Yeah.
And like, I was with my sister. We were actually on our way to Burger King when I found out that I booked it. And I hung up the phone and just looked at her and I was like, you're never going to guess. Like, I'm working with Melissa Joan Hart and Joey Lawrence. And my sister seriously squealed and like almost crashed the car. She was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I get to work with Kevin James now. It's like, what is my life?
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So I saw in an interview you said that Melissa and Joey themselves were like an older brother and sister to you, and talked to you about what it's like, because you were young when the show started. You were 16?
Yeah, like 15, 16.
And, you know, they got to mentor you. Is there any lesson that they taught you that you want to pass on to other actors?
You know, the thing that I appreciated about both of them is, like, they never were in this industry because they wanted to be famous. Mm-hmm. They were in this industry because they loved what they did. You know, both of them, comedy. Like, they love to do comedy. They love sitcoms. So that was just kind of something that I carried with me, is, like, do your job because you actually love to do your job. Because otherwise it's not fun, and there's, it's not a thing to do for fame.
Yeah. I also grew up watching Clarissa and Sabrina. And so when you started the show, did seeing Melissa do, I guess, like more adult humor, adulter is the word I'm going with, humor, did that like affect you and maybe damper your memories?
It wasn't so much seeing her do adulter things.
Yeah.
It was knowing her in real life. Because she's not that she's like the most inappropriate person, but she's very outspoken and just very energetic, and like she's one of those people that will tell you her whole life story. Like, she doesn't hold back. She doesn't care. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of one of those things that, you know, it was great, because I was like, oh, you know, you never know what you're going to walk into a set and like how people are going to be, especially when they've been so successful. And I met them the first day, and it was just all of us immediately clicked. So yeah, it was more of just, I don't know, knowing her on a personal level that threw me off more than seeing her do slightly dirty things with Joey Lawrence.
Yeah, because that did happen.
Yes, it did.
And Joey, I mean, I assume all of your friends were like, is he so hot in person?
You know what I started doing? I used to get Joey to sign shirtless headshots of himself, and I would give them to my friends for their birthdays.
That's so smart.
Right? I would seriously, like, I was just that person who was like, here's a signed headshot of Melissa Joan Hart and Joey Lawrence. Happy birthday.
Your friends were like, thanks.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it was pretty great.
I love that. But now we're on Kevin Can Wait with Kevin James, who is a comedy legend.
Yes.
He plays your father.
Yes, he plays my father.
But you are an adult on this show.
Yeah.
You're like an adult kid.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, because it's, you know, Melissa and Joey, it was like I eventually like went to college and grew up on that, but I've never really played my age. Mm-hmm. And I've never really been like an adult. So it's kind of, yeah, it's weird to be on a show where it's not like me constantly coming to advice. It's like, no, I like have a job, I'm in law school, I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It makes me like show up and I like read scripts. I'm like, God, this makes me feel old. I'm used to playing 15.
Yeah. Is it hard to switch and be like, oh, I have to not do this like a bratty kid?
Yeah, that is the biggest thing, because I'm so, you know, it was always like me giving Aunt Mel just sass all the time. Yeah. And it was like, that was our thing. And now here I'm like, I can't do that because I'm in my 20s and like engaged and in law school, so I can't show up and be like, Dad.
I would love it if that's how you entered one day.
Every episode. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been, you know, it's been a change, but it's fun. It is cool to be like, oh, you know, like I play a law student and I've got a fiance and I'm doing well in life. At least I get to play an adult that's like, you know, doing something.
Yeah. Well, so the premise of Kevin Can Wait is we have our father, Kevin, who is a retired policeman.
officer.
Police person. Right? He's a policeman.
Yeah.
Okay. And his daughter comes home and lets him know that she is leaving school because she's engaged. And so he has to, I assume the title is he has to wait on his retirement because now he's got to help his daughter.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty much like he thought that life at home was going to be so much easier than it was on the force. And then I show up and I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm dropping out of law school to support my fiance who's making an app. And I'm going to pay for his app.
Yeah, let's talk about your fiance for a second. Someone who we may recognize from Alphas, who is surprisingly British.
Yes.
Big surprise. I was thrown off.
What's weird is I don't really know him like without being British. So like when he tries to do an American accent, it's just so, or like when I see him on stuff where he has an American accent, it's very bizarre to me. So I'm just like, oh, what?
No.
Yeah.
Tell me about this fiance situation.
Well,
That's the French way.
It's actually great. Like we have so much fun on the show and like pretending that we're engaged, and we are neighbors. Like in real life, we live right down the street from each other. So we hang out together all day, every day. Like we spend all of our time together, and it's really funny because like, the real significant other is like, what are you doing again? Like, okay, just remember they're fake. But,
well, I mean, it's got to be a great way to like build that relationship.
Yeah, no, it's great because now it's like we know each other so well, and we're not, it's like, it's weird when you meet someone and you're like, okay, I have to pretend that I've been with you for 7 years or something.
Yeah.
Like, putting my arm around you and kissing you. That's always a weird thing to do. But now that we like know each other so well, we've learned each other's comfort zones very quickly. Mm-hmm. So it's not weird for us to be like, okay, hey, I'm kissing you in the scene. Just like, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes it a lot easier. But it is weird to wear a fake engagement ring.
Really?
It's weird that every day I have to like show up and like our prop guy Kenny walks over and like puts an engagement ring on my finger. It's very weird. I accidentally wore it home one time too. And I was like, oh, it's very pretty.
Well, I mean, you have a ring on that finger, I assume, to like keep so it's not so weird.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel weird all the time. Yeah.
So you guys filmed how many episodes?
We just finished our 7th episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 3 have aired.
Yes.
I have watched them. I'm such a big fan of this show. It's so funny.
Thank you.
And it's so clever. And it takes this this like sitcom family thing that we're so used to seeing and just makes it modern and realistic, like really realistic.
Yeah.
In the last episode, we see Kevin, he uses a kind of, what's the real app that we have?
TaskRabbit.
TaskRabbit. And instead he uses Chore Weasel.
Yep.
Which is such a great, like,
yeah,
I get it. I get what this happens.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, while we were filming that episode, I had a day off work and I had just moved, so I had so much furniture that I had to be put together. And I was sitting there and I was like, what should I do? I was like, wait a minute, there's a real life version of Chore Weasel. And I actually called a TaskRabbit and had him build like all the furniture in my apartment.
That's awesome. See,
great.
the show's teaching us things.
Yeah, exactly.
We're learning. Are there some episodes coming up that you're really excited about?
Oh, there's a few. Tonight actually is tonight's a really funny episode. It's about book club, and like Kevin gets like kind of jealous because my mom's book club, like she's always with her friends and they're having so much fun, and his friends are like, oh, even though we're retired, like we're tired, man, like we have families, so it's a really funny back and forth between those two. And then the guy who plays my boss, Joe Starr, he plays Enzo. He owns the pizza place that I work at.
Yeah.
And he's on tonight's episode.
Oh, great.
And I adore him. So yeah, I'm excited for tonight's episode.
Oh.
It's funny because just like when people watch it and they imagine like the pizzeria, you have to imagine that behind what you see is, no joke, probably a hallway that's like not as wide as this table, and you have like 5 of us back there trying to pretend that we're working, like just bumping into each other the entire time. Like there was one point where we're like knocking the like fake stove and stuff, like making loud noises. Everyone's like, dude, we're shooting, can you be quiet? I was like, make the hallway bigger. It's not my fault.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it and know that. That's going to be so great. Yeah. Are we going to get to explore the relationship between your character and your fiance?
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of funny episodes coming up of just kind of the dynamic between the both of us, and then the dynamic of like my dad not being a huge fan of my fiance. And they have a lot of funny banter coming up because it's always just kind of Kev being like, really? Like, always looking at me across the dinner table like, really? This is what you... So it's a lot of fun. And Ryan is just so talented and can keep up with Kevin so much, so they're hilarious together.
How do you keep a straight face?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
We were just watching some funny videos and neither of us can keep it together.
That's me at work all the time. Like, especially when I'm in scenes and like I'm just with Kevin and he like, you'll notice sometimes in scenes like he's talking and I can't look at him. Because if I look at him, I will lose it. Because he's just I'm surrounded by comedians. Like, it's like his brothers or like his real life brothers on the show. He does stand up. They do stand up together. Like, I'm working with people who are stand up legends. And, it's very like offset and onset. I can never keep a straight face. I swear my cheeks are sore when I go home from work at the end of the day.
What do you want to see happen on the show that hasn't yet?
Ooh. I would love... I don't know. It's like, because it's one of those where it's like, I kind of want like Chael and Kendra to get married because I think that would be funny, and I think it'd be cool to like be able to plan a wedding. Like our Melissa and Joey wedding that like always went horribly wrong. And then at the end of Melissa and Joey, I also announced that I was engaged. So I have been engaged before, but I think that
Mazel.
would be, I get around. But I think that would be fun. I think it'd be fun to see like Chael's character trying because I think he would be the one who like took the initiative to plan the wedding. Yeah, I think he would care more than Kendra would.
What can we talk about Chael as a name?
I know. I thought it was Kale. Yeah. When I first auditioned for it, I walked in and like Bruce Helford, one of our executive producers, like the first thing he said to me was like, "It's not Kale, it's Chael," and I was like, "Okay, even weirder. I like it."
Did they ever explain? Are we going to get an answer onto what kind of name Chael is?
They haven't explained it yet, so it is up to your imagination where you think Chael came from.
I've decided that his parents named him Kale, and he just thought, this would be cooler. Chael.
Kale's a nerd's name. I'm going to change it to Chael.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It's great.
Yeah. If you were in Kendra's situation... would you do the same thing that she is doing? Would you leave law school to support Chael?
No, not in a million years.
All right.
No, I think I would choose law school over... I get it though. She's in love and, I get that. But if I went to law school and became a lawyer, then I would make enough money to pay for the app.
Yeah, I had that thought too.
You would just have to wait another 4 years.
Too.
But that's not as funny, so that's why it's not on the show.
So what similarities do you have with Kendra?
It's really funny because it's like I'm not a law student. I'm not a waitress. No, but I
have
think
you ever waited tables?
No.
Okay.
No, just on TV.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think like there's, we definitely have the same drive, like kind of like responsive, like independence of like, okay, like I appreciate you letting me live in your house, Dad, but I'm still going to get a job so I can still do something. Like I'm not going to completely depend on you. And, so I think we definitely have like that in common. We're independent women.
Yeah. I love it. I want to talk a little bit about your hair for a second.
Okay.
Because you are now a brunette. Welcome to the dark side.
Thank you.
And that's a big change for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I've had pretty much every hair color, and this was the one that I was like, okay, I feel like it suits me, and it's not as much upkeep. Because I did have black hair. I had black hair for Amityville, but then that was weird because my hair was so much lighter than black hair. So like when it grew out, it looked like I was balding because it was like blonde roots with black hair.
I'm trying not to laugh, but that's really funny.
You could laugh because it was ridiculous. And then I dyed my hair pink, and then I went from pink to brown, and I just kept it. Also, I got a job with brown hair, so I can't change it now. But like when I dyed it, and like everyone was like, oh, like it's like my whole team was like, it's pilot season though, like you're known as a blonde. And then I like immediately got Kevin Kuwait, and they were like, okay, you were right. And I was like, see, I'm always right. Always listen to me.
Are you always right?
Yeah.
Okay.
99.9%. Maybe once or twice I've been wrong.
Awesome. Well, I know you also do some work in different charity organizations. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I am an ambassador for Lupus LA. And that is something that actually Melissa Joan Hart, I met Adam Selkowitz, who runs Lupus LA. I met him through her. And, it just getting to learn about like autoimmune diseases, and my boyfriend that I had when I was growing up, his mom had lupus, and you know, just kind of being around it and seeing the struggle and seeing that no one understood this disease was something that like really spoke to me. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm very lucky to work with such an amazing organization.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, this was so fun.
I'm so glad you came in. Why don't you tell people where they can find you on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff?
Yes, my Twitter and Instagram is @Taylor Spreitler and @Taylor Spreitler.
Oh,
it's very easy.
Really complicated.
I like to keep people on their toes.
Yeah.
You know?
You can find me everywhere @Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Also, I have a podcast. It is called Intimate Interrogations. Sometimes it is filthy. Sometimes it is not. So, you know, check it out. It's free on iTunes and now on Stitcher. And we'll see you next time on AfterBuzz.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.